Zach Parise, it's Paul Allen. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Paul. How are you doing?
My man, 16 years into it. How about this run? Seriously, 16 into it, and this whole thing that you've seen for the last week. I mean, you talk about old dogs, new tricks. I mean, you never have seen like the week you've had and coming back from this 3-1. I mean, this is unbelievable, man. And good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's fun. It's that's the beauty of playoff hockey is, you feel like being down 3-1, you feel like it's the end of the world, we're done, and then all of a sudden you win a game, you win 2 games, and the pressure shifts over to them, and we've got some life. So it's exciting.
That the highlight we just heard, hockey immortality, Bob Kurtz on the call describing Kevin Fiala's goal, and that sweet little just soft pass to Kevin as he took off. You caught him in stride. You passed it just hard enough off the board so that he could keep going in stride. You jumped for joy after the Hartman goal. I mean, when's the last time you got a vertical of about 13 inches like you got last night?
Trust me, I've gotten some people that have already pointed that out to me. I was excited. I was. When you get into these types of game, I think just the importance of every play, and with the way that game was going, just 0-0, neither team really giving an inch to finally break through for us. I think we were all really excited to finally pull one past Fleury.
Easy to sleep last night, or like what are you like after a game like that? Are you exhausted, of course, and what do you go right to bed, or is it tough to sleep?
It's always tough for me to sleep, especially this time of the year. But even regular season, I mean, we're talking like 3 a.m. I'm lucky if I'm sleeping by then, and then kids are up at 7:15, waiting to say hi before they go to school. So I'll try to catch up a little bit tonight.
Being a crafty veteran, and I'm going to talk about Darby Hendrickson a little later, but like having Darby around, do you think it's fair to say, Zach, that, okay, you tie the series at 3, you beat them at the 7:02, you shut them out last night, you're going to Vegas. So, I mean, as dumb as this may sound, from a human nature standpoint, you got to make sure the kids don't think they already won the series because it was so fun last night,
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna have to worry too much about them. There's still a ton of work to be done, and but again, I think, and rightfully so, we all were really excited after the game last night and during the game. And again, that's playoffs. I mean, whether you win 1-0 or you lose 7-1, it's a win or a loss. So now you move on to the next one, and now we've at least got ourselves into a situation where we have a chance to win the series. So again, going back to last week, it looked like that was a pretty uphill climb for us.
Who got that aggressive red fire helmet in the locker room after the game?
Dumba got it last night. I think for his for his big hit and scrap and getting some energy in the building that he Greener gave it to him last game.
Alec Martinez, who has cup cred, he cracked. I mean, they cracked in the pandemic purge a little bit. For him to skate as far as he skated to mix it up with Matt, they cracked a little bit last night.
Yeah, and I totally understand where he's coming from. A big hit like that, and it was clean. Don't get me wrong, but a big hit. You need a response from your teammates, and like you said, you've got a couple of cups to his name, and so he understands the response that's needed. So he jumped right in there, and for being a skilled defenseman like him, I think you have to give him credit. And it was a good scrap, and I think it gave both teams a lot of life.
You got Toronto to go your way last night too on the Tuck goalie interference, nullifying the Stevenson goal.
It was nice to get one to go our way. I think we've had twice this series we've gotten one called back at pretty important times, and I didn't see the play happen, but once I saw it on the replay, I thought, I'm like, oh man, this thing's going to count. I thought that, honestly that the goal was going to stand, or at least be overturned. So we got a bit of a break there, and at the time of the game, tying that thing up for us to get the power play right after when they lose the challenge, we get the power play and to score right on the power play. It was, that put the game away.
Minnesota hockey immortality, wild winger, Zach Parise, 16th year in the NHL. And, with that veteran cred, you observe and see a lot. You've been through a lot, not only during the season, but during the course of the week. And, one thing, Zach, from afar that is impressing me here is the kids are growing up. I mean, you guys are winning 2-0. You think you go up 3-0, it gets nullified, and it seems like a panic attack happened, and you eventually lose. You eventually lose the game, and then you get shut out. All the pressure's on you, and then you go bang bang. So, watching you guys grow together during all of this. I've done this a long time, man. So have you. You just don't see situations like this frequently, and I just really appreciate it. I would imagine you do too.
Yeah, I think we all do, and you need to experience these things to understand the ups and downs of a game and the playoffs and the series, and know how to respond to them. Whether it's a power play goal or a goal against or a disallowed goal, like you were saying, you need to go through these and understand, how to calm yourself down and get back to just worrying about the game. And so, in that short time, I think we really have come a long way and learned how to handle these situations better.
Speaking of non-obvious things, Zach, players like Ryan Hartman in pro sports, you just don't come across very often. I mean, he played with Kane and Taves, so he knows what the high-enders look like. He loves it here and wanted to stay, takes a team-friendly deal, which still is worth a lot of money, and he's just really tough and good at what he does.
He really is, and I think, going into the season, I don't think anyone had penciled him in as a top six center, and I think he's taken that role and done a really good job in his speed. I mean, I think just having him as a right-handed center helps us a ton, but his speed through the middle and the neutral zone, and he's had that knack for scoring. I mean, he scored a lot in Chicago that one year he was playing, and so we know he can put the puck in the net. I think he's a really underrated passer too, but just to give us that flexibility at center ice, I think he's done a really, really good job for us.
After you fed Fiala, what I think is underrated also is him keeping his poise. I mean, because the freak-out factor can set in there, and, you try too hard, you go too fast, and you fumble the puck. I mean, he was just super poised after you got it to him. That's easier said than done, right?
With Kevin, you're saying?
Yeah, with Kevin, when you got him the puck for the Hartman goal.
Yeah, and I think, and he even made the joke to me on the bench. He said, "There's no way I was shooting that puck." I think, everyone. I think Fleury had started to get in guys' heads a little bit, and all of a sudden you're overthinking when you're shooting. And even him, in that moment, he's in his mind, he's like, "I'm not shooting this thing." And then, he makes a great play to Hartman. And then all of a sudden he's feeling good about himself, and then sure enough, a couple minutes later he shoots it on the power play and scores. So I think, look for him to have a really good game tomorrow. He's a guy that really, once he gets going and once he gets confident, he takes over games. So I think we should all be excited that he was able to find the back of the net last night.
Zach Parise, 9 to noon, Wild in Vegas, 8 o'clock on the Fan tomorrow night. It's a Game 7. I would just guess miserable watching those first three out of uniform. Handled it with class. You're in the mix. You're changing games, but that was a tough spot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's even an understatement, saying it's a tough spot. I mean, we all dream of playing at this time of the year in the playoffs, and just having to sit there next to Dan Myers of all people in the press box and watch the games. It's come on, man. It wasn't fun watching your team play and watching them in playoffs, and but I think it's one of those situations where you have to stay ready, and you never want a teammate to go down. You never want Johansson to get hurt, but right when I saw that happen, you're thinking, okay, now I got to get myself ready to play next game. I'm going in. And so, no looking back now.
Yeah, there is no looking back, legitimately, man. And I mean, you're so blessed personally and professionally. Here you are. There everybody is going to Vegas for Game 7. So it's almost like you can draw a line through that now because you're just not going to dwell. You're so blessed. It's Zach Parise, 9 to noon. Darby Hendrickson, man. It's got to be cool having Darby around. He knows what 3-1 comebacks feel like. Wouldn't you agree?
He does, and I've been waiting for the Darby Hendrickson motivational speech from 2003. I think we're all hoping that we can have some of that magic that they had during that Western Conference final run. And but I've known Darby since I was 6-7 years old. Our dads were good buddies and coached together, so I've known him for a long time, and it's great that our paths have crossed again. And he's just a good guy to be around. He's a positive guy, and he just makes everybody happy.
Wait a minute, the Florida Panthers got bounced by Stamkos last night. So Bruno can give a motivational speech and recall what he did to Juan in 2003 when you were at Nodak.
You're right. And then Walsh Hall dormitory almost collapsed when Bruno scored that goal. I'd love to see Bruno show up in Vegas and relive that moment for us. And hopefully we'll end up on that same end tomorrow.
Fair to say, Zach, Las Vegas has all the pressure. You guys have all the momentum. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but I think that's factual.
I think so too, and I think at least we know we're feeling good about those 2 wins that we've had, and then we were just talking about it even in after Game 5 is like the last thing they want to do is come back to Minnesota and play another game, and then all of a sudden we know historically we've played well at home, and we've gotten ourselves into a coin flip now, so that's all we can ask for.
What about your goaltender, Cam Talbot? It's the goalie stole a game is used frequently, sometimes overused. But like in Game 5, he made good saves. But I mean, it's not like we're going Ken Dryden on this thing. Last night, I mean, he's a combo of Ken Dryden, Lundqvist, Rogie Vachon, and name your favorite goalie. He was unbelievable last night, Cam Talbot.
He was, and all the talk has been about Fleury early in the series, and I think Cam has really quietly just taken over. And I think he's got that ability to get in the shooter's head. And I think our defensemen are doing a really good job of blocking out and letting him see the puck. But even when there has been a breakdown, he's bailed us out a lot. And so you need good goaltending this time of year. It's just really tough to win when you're giving up 3-4 goals. So he's been awesome.
I thought Nico Sturm's game was sneaky good last night. Did you?
I did. I think he's been playing really well, actually. Whether he's getting on the score sheet or not, I think the way he's been penalty killing, he skates well. He's hard to play against, and I think for a fourth line center, he fits that mold really well.
Now you got Foligno around there breaking glass. Having people their peripheral vision better be good because 17 might fly out of nowhere. I mean, he was a beast last night, Marcus Foligno.
He was. It's some big hits, and I would love to have 18,000 in there for the glass break. I think that would have really got everyone excited. But he's that line has been really good all year, and especially in the playoffs. They've been really reliable, produced offensively, and I think you can tell all of a sudden the defensemen are starting to look over their shoulder because they know each one of those guys is going to finish their checks.
All right, so in Game 5, they got like 12,000 at T-Mobile. Looked like 22,000 with the way they do those seats. and you guys had the super special 4,500 last night. So when you're playing and your tunnel vision, man, you're just immersed in what you're doing, Zach. What's it like with what it sounded like last night compared to sitting them all down and beating them in Game 5 on the road?
There's something. There's something really cool about going into a road building and quieting them down, silencing them, and you can just kind of feel their frustration. That's a really cool feeling to be able to do that, and then hopefully that we're going to get another home game and we'll be able to allow a few more people in the building. I would assume and hope at this time that because this building can get really loud in the playoffs, and we've seen it before. And I think our team responds really well to that. So, but hopefully tomorrow, again, it's a building you want to take the crowd out of it early. Even if it's just ugly hockey, just don't give them anything to cheer about. And I think that really worked for us in Game 5, and we'll try it again tomorrow.
Zach, you ever play blackjack?
Love blackjack.
Okay, well, guess what? And this is not the bleep talking Homer announcer with 3 chins and 1 eyebrow. We've known each other. We've known each other too long to know that when I say this, it truly is what I believe, and I think it's fact. You guys have become the house. They now have the 16, and they're staring at you. They're staring at your king. So go ahead and decide to stay, and you'll lose. Go ahead and try to hit. You better get a 5, because if you don't,
I love that analogy.
But seriously, I mean, they had you guys down to your last freaking red chip, and
Yep.
You went all in, and you and Big Rig Guy just grinding. The way you scored your goal at Vegas, man. If the Twins hadn't been winning so much of late, I wouldn't be surprised if they called you saying nice swing. But seriously, they have all the pressure. You have all the momentum. Nothing is promised. Doesn't mean you're a cinch, but I certainly would prefer to be in that spot, even on the road. You've seen a lot. Fair way to look at it, right?
I think so. I agree with you. Just the way we've been playing. The way Cam's been playing, our ability to be able to really lock it down. It's the situation that they were in, being up 3-1 and looking to close it out to all of a sudden a little bit of more pressure for them at home. Got to win a Game 7 at home. I've been a part of I think 3 Game 7s, and the road team has won all of them. So hopefully we can keep that trend.
You're the best, man. I really appreciate you calling. Congratulations on the victory. Best of luck tomorrow night, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Yep. See you, Zach Parise. Oh, thank Kevin for number 11, part of the Christmas Colors Covenant. Got the money last night, and hopefully Vegas goes bust on the Fan tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.